the eligibility of two aspirants, Mr. Brani J. Samuka of Lufa County and Dr. Alfred Sigwe of Granville County. Aspirant Alfred Sigwe's case was disposed at the level of the commission. No appeal was taken. In the Brani J. Samuka case, the commission heard and denied the challenger or objector's complaint. Not satisfied, the objector took an appeal to the Honorable Supreme Court, and on November 17, 2020, the Supreme Court denied the appeal. Additionally, the commission heard two complaints from two prospective aspirants who sought to register after the special senatorial election candidate nomination exercise had closed. The complaint of Dr. George B. Simon of Lufa County was heard and disposed of at the level of the commission. No appeal was taken. The case of Mr. Mofas S. Jacoli of Granville County made it to the Honorable Supreme Court twice. On September 24, 2020, Mr. Jacoli wrote the commission a letter seeking late registration on ground of a medical excuse. In its reply to Mr. Jacoli's letter, the commission informed Mr. Jacoli that the nomination had closed on September 21st, 2020, and that same could not be reopened. Not satisfied, Mr. Jacoli filed a petition for the writ of mandamus with the Chamber Justice of the Honorable Supreme Court, and on October 9, 2020, Her Honor issued the writ ordering the National Elections Commission to stay the publication of the final list of candidates pending the outcome of the hearing. As a result, the NEC did not publish the final list of candidates on October 10, and without publication of the final list of candidates, the NEC would not declare campaign open. Upon return of the case to the NEC for a hearing consistent with due process, the NEC heard and denied the complaint. Not satisfied, Mr. Jacoli appealed to the full bench of the Honorable Supreme Court. On November 17, the case was disposed of, and the Supreme Court lifted the stay order, thereby giving the NEC the go-ahead to publish the final list of candidates for the special senatorial election. With respect to the two by-elections in District Number 9, Montserrat County, and District Number 2 in Sino County, the NEC did not receive any complaints regarding the Sino County by-election. With respect to the Montserrat County District Number 9 by-election, the NEC received one complaint filed by Attorney Jackson M. Morley, a prospective aspirant. The commission heard and denied the complaint, and the case was disposed of at the level of the commission. The CPP versus NEC and GOL petition for mandamus regarding the voters' roll, the outcome, the Honorable Supreme Court denied the petition. The CPP versus NEC, the House of Representatives and the Ministry of Justice petition for mandamus regarding the by-elections, the outcome, the Supreme Court denied the petition. CPP and the Rainbow Alliance versus NEC and the Executive Branch petition for prohibition on the referendum. On November 18, 2020, the Honorable Supreme Court handed down its opinion in the said case. The court held that the NEC acted within the law to have scheduled the referendum to be held on December 8, 2020. As to the issue of how many propositions there should be, the court observed that proposition number 2, as printed in the Gazette, condenses 5 of the proposed amendments into one. That proposition number 3, as printed in the Gazette, condenses 2 of the proposed amendments into one. The court held that it was an error to have published the official Gazette as such, given the fact that the joint resolution passed by the legislature provided for 8 propositions into 3 categories. Therefore, prohibition will lie to prevent the NEC from relying on the Gazette in the execution of its function. The court stated further that the prohibition does not prevent the holding of the referendum, nor does the prohibition prevent the first respondent from printing the ballots by presenting each of the propositions separately as provided for in the Constitution and the joint resolution adopted by the legislature so as to permit the people to exercise their choice as to each of the proposed amendments. In the wherefore clause, the quote ended by saying, "The NEC is hereby prohibited from printing ballots for the referendum contrary to the joint resolution Legislature 002/2019 of the Legislature and Article 92 of the Constitution. Logistics, arrangements, pre-packed materials for the special senatorial election and by-election. All logistical arrangements are proceeding as planned. The NEC has hired a number of temporary staff and reassigned All logistical arrangements are proceeding as planned. As we said, the NEC has hired a number of temporary staff and reassigned some permanent staff of the Commission who are currently working around the clock in our central warehouse to ensure that all pre-packed sensitive and non-sensitive elections materials are ready in time for deployment throughout the country for the December 8, 2020 elections. NEC Data Center, engagements with political parties, technicians. Deduplication of the existing voter registration process began immediately after the 2020 voter roll exhibition exercise. The NEC Data Center has been working with the ECOWAS and UNDP technical teams in ensuring a thorough deduplication of the existing voter roll. As stated earlier, all cases of possible duplication of the list are subject to a thorough validation and quality control process. The NEC Data Center, ECOWAS, and UNDP technical teams have a working session with political parties technicians on November 19, 2020, in which they were shown the first and second stages of the voter roll deduplication process. Those in attendance admitted that they are impressed with the work being done by the technical teams in an effort to ensure a credible election. The deduplication process is expected to be concluded before the release of the final figures that shall constitute the final registration roll for the 2020 elections. Exhibition. Total inclusions during exhibition, 86 persons. Total corrections during exhibition, 2,342 persons. Total correction for photos during exhibition, 119 persons. And total changes during exhibition, 25 persons. Please note, challenges were made to persons presumed to be dead, whose records were still on the preliminary roll. However, the Commission did not receive enough evidence from those making such claims. Replacement of lost and damaged cards. Total voter ID replaced during the 2020 voter roll update exercise stands at 116,760. 116,760. Publication of final list of candidates and start of political campaign. With the conclusion of the Jacqueline case at the Supreme Court on November 17, the NEC on November 18 published the final list of candidates and declared political campaign for the special senatorial election and the two by-elections open. Procurement and election logistics. The NEC is currently busy packaging electoral materials, mainly stationery, in preparation for the 8th December polls. Please note, with the lifting of the prohibition, the NEC has now instructed the company printing the ballot to go ahead with the printing. Let me be quick to note that we have lost valuable time, more than 2 weeks, because of these cases. The ballots should have been in the country on or before the 15th of November, but it might not arrive here until probably the 28th of November, which will leave the NEC with just 1 week to package and deploy across the country. This is hugely taxing, and we want all stakeholders to note this. Procurement processes for vehicle rental for the elections. The recruitment process for more than 30,000 temporary police staff is ongoing across the country. Based on the recruitment guidelines, priority is given to those who have worked well as polling staff before and those who participated in the last voter roll update and exhibition. The polling and counting cascade training process has also begun with training of election magistrates who will replicate the training to the electoral supervisors who will then train the polling staff. Ladies and gentlemen, I will now introduce Madam Charlotte, who arrived in country on 1st November. Madam Say is the former chairperson of the Ghanaian Electoral Commission. She is in the country as head of a 3-person technical data support team to Liberia, assigned to the data center of NEC, largely to help further clean up the voter roll. The NEC is grateful to ECOWAS Commission for its continued support to the Commission. Madam.
Madam Chair, Madam Co-Chair, members of the Board of Commissioners, staff of NEC, ladies and gentlemen of the media, good afternoon. And it's a good opportunity to thank everyone for the very warm welcome that myself and the ECOWAS technical team have received since we arrived in Liberia. We started working even before I got into the country physically on Sunday. And so far, we worked very well with the Board of Commissioners, with the IT team of NEC, with support from the UNDP technical team as well. And my team and I are pleased to report that we've made significant progress. Since the ECOWAS team started working with the NEC team and the UNDP team on the register, they've also met the political parties several times, and they've had meetings with the technical team of the political parties. Significant progress has been made with the cleaning of the register. We have put in place a very inclusive and transparent progress in line with the principles of electoral justice to ensure that the outcome of the cleaning process would be satisfactory to all the stakeholders. And to that extent, yesterday we had training for the technical team representing the political parties and independent candidates. They were invited to send reps. The technical team from ECOWAS and UNDP, and of course with NEC, met with them. We took them through the cleaning process that we are putting in place. There is consensus that everyone agrees with the process in place. And today, we will start with the actual deduplication exercise. Again, the process of deduplication would involve all technical teams from political parties, NEC, UNDP, and ECOWAS. So we are very certain that by the time we finish in a few days, all parties will be happy with the progress made, and we will have an electoral roll, a voter roll that is satisfactory to all parties, and so we will have a good foundation for a peaceful, transparent electoral process. We do know that time is of the essence, and we're all working very hard to do this cleanup as quickly as possible. But we still take the view that it is more important to have a roll that is clean and delivered to stakeholders late than to deliver to stakeholders a voting roll that is not adequate or fit for purpose. So we are certain that the process we have put in place, which, like I said earlier, is inclusive, is transparent, and involves all stakeholders, would yield a satisfactory outcome, and we can all go into the senatorial election and the referendum with assurance that we have a role that is fit for purpose, and we have a role that meets everyone's basic ideas. So we thank you for the support we've had, and we continue to count on the support of all stakeholders, and of course the people of Liberia, who are the most important stakeholders. We understand and we appreciate that elections belong to the people, and we are here to assist NEC to ensure that what the people say through the ballot box would reflect the results that are announced by NEC. So we thank you, and we look forward to engaging with as many stakeholders as possible while we're here, and to supporting you all to ensure that the process will be Liberian-owned, Liberian-led, but we give you the best of our support. Thank you.
So we can take a few questions.
Yes.
Let me say to us that the commissioners are here. They can answer some of your questions. We have the technicians who can also answer your questions. Because some of us are not data people. So those who are the data experts here in the commission, and the UNDP data expert is also here. They will help to support this process. We also have technicians sitting among you who are legal experts here. So you can start your questions, and where we think that the technicians should provide some clarity, we'll call them. Thank you. Go ahead.
Next question.
As a technician, I want to ask.
Please do.
Mr. Technician. Okay, Honorable Director, we have the situation. I'm Afra Sadiq from the District of Liberia. We have a situation where there's a high rate of poverty and illiteracy in Liberia. Thank you. And smartphone can be easily used to access like information and get educated. But my concern has to do with the numbers of people that live out of Monrovia or into rural areas that can afford smartphone. What mechanism has your technician put in place that at least people using the little phones they can have access to information when it comes to the election process?
So I will say to you that we have to set up, we have to do everything we can to set up systems. And the system of information is this system that we are doing now. It does not preclude that we may not be able to provide information to, as you say, the poor people. Because we do know that there are a lot of people who have smartphones. So I think where you're coming into is for us to also focus on the work that you do. Because you have a bulletin on the streets. So in that respect, probably we can work something out. But again, the technician maybe want to speak to the issue with respect to these smartphones. I don't know, will any smartphone or any phone be able to pick this thing up to be able to access our web? That's your question.
Yes.
You want to speak to that, please? Jimmy, talk to you.
Yes, of course. All Android, iOS, all platforms of mobile phone can easily access the new website, the rebranded website.
Okay.
Next question, please, if any.
Yeah.
Please.
My name is James Good Flomo. I report for Spoon FM and Spoon TV. I want to get something clear, and also the public will want to get that clear. It has to do with the referendum. Is it that the court ruled that the National Elections Commission should go ahead and print all of the things that we're going to vote for? They should print it on a ballot separately, or we will not go to referendum in these elections?
Okay, I think I read something to you. I'm trying to find it so I can quote it verbatim. But we also have the technician here who the legal people can explain that better. We got lawyers here, they can add to it. But we said that, and I will read that again. As to the issue of how many propositions there should be, the court observed that proposition number 2, as printed in the Gazette, condenses 5 of the proposed amendments into 1, and that proposition number 3, as printed in the Gazette, condenses 2 of the proposed amendments into 1. The court held that it was an error to have published the official Gazette as such, given the fact that the joint resolution passed by the legislature provided for 8 propositions into 3 categories. Therefore, prohibition lie to prevent the NEC from relying on the Gazette in the execution of its function. The court stated further that the prohibition does not prevent the holding of the referendum, nor does the prohibition prevent the first respondent from printing the ballots by presenting each of the propositions separately as provided for in the Constitution and in the joint resolution adopted by the legislature as to permit the people to exercise their choice as to each of the proposed amendments. And the court ended by saying, the NEC is hereby prohibited from printing ballots for the referendum contrary to the joint resolution and Article 92 of the Constitution. I will stop here and give the legal expert there a chance. Where's the legal man?
Okay, thank you. And the NFI is, let me repeat it. The courts, the joint resolution passed by the legislature provided 8 propositions. 8. So therefore, the court says that the NEC should print as instructed by the joint resolution, so that they can print nothing less than 8. That's what that last sentence that was read says.
Any other questions?
Next question, please.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, my question has to do with the disabled community. How can you interpret the legal part of this document that the disabled community can really understand into the election process?
I presume that people in the disabled community are also letters people. They're not just people who don't know anything. But one of the things that I think will come out of this is to say whether in fact we conduct the referendum with 8 ballots. And I think anybody can understand that. But also too, we use the vernacular. When we are doing our CBE on the radio and throughout the media, we have these things broken down.
Okay, just a follow on that. Some time ago, in fact, that was last week, the LCC, meaning the Council of Churches, came out to say that the awareness or public civic education has been only managed by NEC, and because of that high literacy problem, they see reason that the referendum should be postponed, and 2 or 3 institutions also follow. So are you looking at that in considerations? And what mechanisms have been put in place so that we can have adequate public civic education so that people cannot misinterpret what you say?
The group you said the interrelations or the Council of Churches?
The Council of Churches.
Council of Churches made statements with respect to limited CE. But I want to put it the other way. I think what I understood from Liberians is that there's need for more civic and voter education, because CBE has already been in the communities. We have a whole lot of stuff, jingles and what have you, on the radio, in the counties, as well as on community radios. We have things in the newspapers. We have this website that we upload a whole lot of things. One of the challenges that the Commission faces is that most NGOs and different institutions that probably could be doing civic and voter education through their own medium, rely on the commission to do everything. So probably the Council of Churches, they have to rethink, because we'll be working with them to get some of our flyers and what have you, and to start to, explain some of these things to the people. They also have the, the platform. They have the platform to educate Liberians. And we are even writing letters to them to help us to inform Liberians through the platform. On the other part of the question, the commission receives mandates. So we cannot say no referendum or referendum until it reaches the point where we may not be able to do any of these activities because of time, if we are pressed for time. But we are not sure yet. Okay. So we have the mandate to do the referendum. So we will do the referendum.
Any other questions?
No, let me correct a question or a comment. The council did not say that the NEC has fully managed information to the public. I didn't hear that because we all read the press statement, we all heard from the radio. What happened was that the matter about the referendum was in court, and the commission and everybody else was not sure as to whether we were going to use 3 propositions or more. So more could not have been done in terms of educating the public. So that's why the council said there was not enough information about the referendum. It was not from the NEC. It was not that the NEC was negating all its responsibility.